Hi, welcome back. It's been a long time and I have been up to a lot of different things these last couple of months. I know I haven't been on this platform for a long time, but you can see the project that I've been working on, Trust the Truth. That's where I'm just reporting the latest controversial news and just talking about certain topics and my Christian viewpoint on it, and asking a lot of the audience their questions on these topics. But yeah, I've come back to this platform because there was something I needed to share, a testimony, and I find this platform as more of my personal experience and growth and just sharing that with the people that listen and watch. So basically the last couple of months, 2-3 months, I can't remember when I last came on this platform, but there was a very cool experience that I went through. So basically, Pastor David Lynn, if you don't know David Lynn, he's from Christ Forgiveness Ministries. He came down to the UK, and so did Daniel Adams in the same month. So I didn't know this was going to happen. My friend, she was part of Christ Forgiveness Ministries for a long time, and she did ask me to come down to Christ Forgiveness for quite a while, but because it's so far, I don't live anywhere near Barking, so it was very out of my way. I never made the time to go, but for some reason I just felt that the church that I was currently going to, I didn't feel like there was much growth going on there, so I just felt really I wanted to see what Christ Forgiveness is about. And it kept coming to my mind that if I died one day, or if rapture happened, that was something I did want to experience, at least go in there once. So when I got the urge, a real hard urge to go, 1 week my mom's car, something happened with my mom's car, so I couldn't go. The other week it was my brother's birthday, and then something else happened and I couldn't go, and it just seemed very weird, so it made me want to go even more. And then the day that I managed to actually get there, after having this urge for weeks of wanting to go, I show up just randomly, and guess who happens to be going there? Guess who happens to have shown up as a part of a surprise visit? David Lynn. And it's just funny because I was just going there for the service to see what this church is like. I know David Lynn's not usually here in the UK, so the fact that he's happened to just do a surprise visit on the day that I'm there, it just seemed like, wow, the Lord just brought this together, and I just praise the Lord for it. But I just continued to go there during the time of his presence there, and I saw deliverance for the first time. So I was part of, I came to the front, we were sitting in there, and they asked, does anyone want to receive Jesus? So I decided to go to the front, and all of a sudden I just felt a burst of speaking in tongues. I've spoken in tongues before though, but I did feel like to speak in tongues. I felt repeatedly in my head to say it, and then I started to say out loud, Jesus has come, Jesus has come. And then next to me there was a guy who was being prayed on by David Lynn. David Lynn had his hand on his head, and he was going up like you couldn't, like something was going pushing you or something. He was just doing a weird like, I can't do it, but it was very strange. So I'm just going, Jesus come, watching this guy next to me going and he was like kind of sinking into himself type thing. I can't really explain, but it was very strange. And yeah, so then I spoke to that guy later on. I think on a different day actually I spoke to him, and he basically said he was trying to say praise the Lord, but the words couldn't come out of his mouth. It felt like something was holding his tongue from speaking, or his mouth from speaking. And then when David Lynn prayed over him, it was loosened and he could pray. And he said it's not the first time he's had deliverance before, so some sort of spirit was casted out. I spoke to another girl who was part of Christ Forgiveness Ministries, and she said that she's been set free from demonic possession before, of evil spirits before. So it was just crazy to meet a church that's actually experienced the things that are written in the Bible. So I was just so happy with this church, so pleased with it, enjoying my time there. And the funny thing is, before I decided to show up, I was taking part in their online course, and I got a message from David Lynn saying, oh, are you part of the church? And I was like, no. And then he was like, he didn't respond. So I was like, okay, maybe it's okay, I'm not part of the church. But that also added to my urge to want to go, that led to me being there on the same day he showed up there. So it was just kind of funny things that happened that kind of led to this experience, and the Lord allowed me to witness deliverance for the first time. And then during that time period, Daniel Adams was down, so I went to one of those events, and it was very cool seeing the people that work with him. But I'm not part of his ministries. I don't really follow him that much. I've seen a few things of Daniel Adams, and when I went there, it was I felt the energy. I felt like God's presence was there, especially at the start of the service. I felt like the spirit in me was everyone was getting hyped up, like Jesus is gonna move right now. We felt it in the spirit, and there was a lot of people very hyped up, but some people were just going mad before Daniel Adams even done anything. And Daniel Adams was like, you can't pray for everyone, but everyone was just crowding him, so he just went to just start banging, like tapping everyone's heads, like because it was just too much. Even my mum, she didn't even bother to come to the front because she was just like, he's not going to be able to pray over everybody. She just sat back. I went there and I looked around. I ended up getting prayed on by his wife, who said a couple of nice things. He said something about children and that I'll be helping the children. It was a very nice prayer. We'll see about that. Some of these things are like future tense type things, so we'll see about the things she was saying, if it's true or not. But I was definitely there to just find out what Daniel Adams does, if it's true or not. And I was just testing the spirits. I'm definitely seeking the Lord at these events that I went to and these places I went to, and seeking God's move. So I was just going around viewing, seeing, observing. Especially at Daniel Adams' thing, I was more observing what was going on. And my take on it is, I'm not sure. I did post some stuff about it, and I got someone saying, oh, Daniel Adams is false, all this stuff, he's fake, false prophet and things like that. So I've looked into him being false, and there is some sketchy videos, I must admit, of Daniel Adams doing some stuff like that's kind of like borderline magic, like trying to be like, oh, one leg will be longer than the other, some weird things like that I really didn't understand. But I do think that a lot of people can be quick to judge. As Christians, if he's a normal person, he might be just testing the spirits. He might have followed someone else's teachings, trying different things. I don't think you should really come down so hard on people on things like that, because they might be being true in their hearts and really trying to do things for God, and you're being like, oh, these are false. They have to stand before God. If they are false, he's going to reap what he sows and all of that if he is. If he isn't, then what he's doing is good, and you're coming against someone who's doing something for the Lord. So I'm not going to say whether I think he's false or not, because I cannot really judge it on even the videos that have been shown that say that he's false, because, oh, he charges for this, and oh, he done some sketchy stuff at the beginning of what he was like when he first started trying to do these type of things. I can't really judge it, because if he's a normal person, he might be just trying to work things out himself and just try new things, and maybe he was led to do some of these things. You don't know, so it's kind of hard. But I must admit, with a lot of people that was at Daniel Adams' things were genuine Christians, and I feel like when you have a lot of genuine Christians around each other hoping for the Lord to work, he will work, and his presence is there. So whether Daniel Adams is or not, that doesn't matter. He can still be a tool used by God to make a revival. So we'll just see what happens with all of it. A lot of the things I see on Daniel Adams when he's talking on topics and things, I do agree with him. So it's hard. It's hard to say on him because I don't really watch a lot of his things. But if you know what your thoughts are on Daniel Adams, let me know. If you think he's false, or if he's a man of God, let me know. And why. Share any information as well for anyone that's come across this too, so they can know why. As well, with David Lynn, I can't say anything. David Lynn is perfect. He's a perfect man of God. Fire for all my days. That guy, he's literally, his ministry is on fire. When I was there, I was just felt the spirit. I felt like I was learning. I felt like I was growing there. And it's a shame because they moved location again, so I'm just too far away. Because I've recently moved myself, so I'm very far away from a lot of things that are central London. So it's just everything's too far. But during that time period, I was led to another church, and it was amazing, and I experienced actually casting out a devil myself from someone, and it was amazing. That is a testimony I will have to share later on. But yeah, I got led to another church, and this church, God is moving in it, and the Lord used me to cast out a devil. The Lord casted out a devil. The Lord gave deliverance to a good friend of mine, and it was amazing, and to be part of it and to actually witness God move and to really be part of this journey with Him. The Lord is so real. If you don't know Jesus, really give your life to Him today, because man, all the things that are written in the Bible is so true, so real. My life has changed completely. I am so joyful in the Lord, and even the experience with David Lynn and at Daniel Adams' event, it was amazing. It really just encouragement, and just really set me on fire again. Like when I first came to be a Christian, I was on fire for the Lord. I was like, I'm going to save you, and I'm going to tell everyone the truth, and blah blah blah. Everyone's going to be set free and all this, and then I had to humble myself and leave it to the Lord, and now I'm back on fire again, but I'm doing it the right way now. It's like God's educated me on how to move, and He's really showing His people the way right now. He's really getting the church in order. Oh, I praise the Lord I feel like this 2023 is going to be on fire for everyone. But yeah, that's it for my testimony of what I've been up to lately. Because there was two just mad events that happened that I just felt like it needs to be shared. And yeah, like I said, any information you have on supernatural life, whatever, if you like them, if you don't, share it in the comments below, because I'll be interested to know, as I don't know much on them at all. But I was very observant at the event, and it was a good event for me. But I don't know, it's interesting. But yeah, and definitely if you haven't been Christ Forgiveness Ministries, you need to go, because that place is on fire, man. That church is on fire. That church is amazing. So I really had a good time there. So yeah, and if you have anything good or bad to say on that, write in the comments below. But yeah, anyway, that's it from me. God bless you. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.
So what you see in United States of America and Britain and all of these Gentile countries, they have a way about them. They have a style. They have a culture. And you can see it in the universities. You can see it in their mannerisms. You can see it in their expressions. You can see it in their music. You can see it in everything they do, if they have not surrendered to Jesus. He's identifying a culture. He's saying, look, there's a culture that we are under as people of God that I don't want you to walk like. I don't want you to be like them. Why? Because they walk in the vanity of their mind. They don't have faith. They walk in the vanity of their mind. They walk by what they can see and not what God can do.